Is your Airbnb optimized for family travel? If not, you could be missing out on a big chunk of revenue and a huge section of the market. In today's video, I'm gonna go over some stats around family travel and then some great ideas and amenities that you can implement in your properties to really capture those families that are traveling, market to them, and make them comfortable when they're in your property. And so to start off, I just wanna talk about the increase in family travel over the last 5 years. And since 2019, Airbnb reports that their family travel section has increased by 60%. And actually in 2024, family travel has accounted for 1 in every 5 bookings, which is huge. That's a lot of families utilizing Airbnb, VRBO, and other booking platforms to get their own property and not stay in hotels. And I think it's pretty simple for us to understand why they do that, right? If you book an Airbnb or VRBO, about 90% of them have their own kitchens. They have washer and dryers. They have extra bedrooms for kids to stay in. Staying at a hotel is not a great option for a lot of these families, me and my family included. Me and my wife just booked a trip to New York City, and it was the first time that we've actually booked a hotel in probably about 5 years since we had kids. All of our travel has been through Airbnb and VRBO because we need a house. We need some extra rooms. We want to have a kitchen to take advantage of. And so this is going to be our first solo trip and really the first time that we've utilized hotels. I can tell you right now, it's gonna kind of suck. I hate staying in hotels, and I think a lot of people do as well. We are avid travelers with Airbnb because we have kids and because we need that extra space. And there's a lot of families like us. Another interesting statistic that I saw is that multi-generational family travel has increased by up to 35% in the same time frame. And what that means is that you have a lot of families traveling together. And so that might be me, my family, my sister, and her family all traveling and staying in the same house. You could have grandma and grandpa, mom and dad tagging along. And what we see with a lot of those travelers is that they're looking for spaces that accommodate larger groups, multiple bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, and even multiple living areas so that the kids can be playing in a game room or away from the adults, and the adults can be watching a movie or drinking a glass of wine. And really thinking about that strategically when you're setting up your property, I think can be a huge benefit to attract those type of guests. And so we talked about some of the stats around family and multi-generational family travel. And it's very clear that families are using Airbnb and VRBO to do a lot of their travel. And those categories of people have really increased. What we haven't seen is a huge increase in properties being optimized and set up to attract those families, making them comfortable and marketing to them. And so here's a couple of suggestions that I have for some amenities and some basic essentials that you can have to really make those families comfortable. Let's just start with the basic essentials. It seems so simple, but a pack and play, kids, cups, plates, and a high chair, in my opinion, are an easy, quick 3 things that you can add to any property for less than a few $100s that is going to immediately make your property more attractive and more comfortable for people traveling with small kids. If you're on a flight, carrying a pack and play with you is not necessarily an option, and a lot of people look for homes that already have those pack and plays for kids under about 3 years old. I've got a 3-year-old. I can tell you having a high chair is really nice. You can sit them down, strap them in, make sure they eat their food, and is one of those silly little things that makes a big difference. Same thing with cups and plates that are plastic and are made for kids. Kids love them. They're easy to clean. They don't break. Save yourself the headache of broken cups and plates. Invest a little bit of money in some things that are kids friendly. The next inexpensive essential that you can add to your short-term rental for families is pretty simple. You can do books and toys. Airbnb and VRBO both have those as essentials amenities to check off when you're building your listing. And you can spend less than $50 and get a bunch of kids books, even secondhand, and a bunch of toys at Walmart. Put them in one of the closets. It's one of the kids' bedrooms. Yes, they're going to get stolen. Yes, they're going to get dirty. Every once in a while, your cleaners are going to have to run them through the dishwasher machine. But it's an easy amenity. And I can't tell you how many times I get great reviews like this one on my properties that say, hey, we're excited. We enjoyed having toys and books for our kids to do something while we were in the home, so they didn't just sit there and watch TV. And so that would be my list of some basic essentials you can immediately add to any property or any property that you're setting up to really optimize that home for families. The next one is going to be your amenities, and those carry a little bit higher cost, and you're going to have to be more strategic in where you put them and how you get them installed. But I would say the number one thing we see drive really high ROI is those built-in bunk beds. They're awesome. You can see different models that I have here. We always make them unique and special. They increase our occupancy by 4. They're comfortable for adults to sleep on because they're not those cheap, rickety IKEA bunk beds that you never want to sleep on the top bunk if you were an adult or a large person. They photograph really well. They're fun for kids to slide down. And I would say that is my number one favorite amenity for short-term rentals if you're trying to target families and with kids. Yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but they can have huge ROIs and really increase revenue. And then my last amenity that I would recommend would be some type of a game room setup, whether that goes in the garage, whether that goes in one of the bedrooms, a larger bedroom, or a spare room like an office or a loft. Having arcade games, make sure you have some essentials that make families comfortable and happy. Make sure you have some great amenities that they can see in the photography that makes them excited and want to come stay at your home. And think really hard about your market, who's your ideal guest. And I am leaning into my properties being more family friendly because as we see, the numbers and the stats are continuing to trend towards more and more Airbnb and VRBO users being families traveling with kids or multi-generational families. And so I'm going to make sure that my properties are definitely optimized for those groups and those demographics, and I would recommend you should too. There's gonna be a huge revenue boost by doing that, and there's a lot of properties in your market that are not optimized for families. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe and like, and look forward to new content every week.